na msiogope, mtuambie mambo yote ile maneno mnataka kutuambia, because we need violence and rudeness does not take anybody anywhere. All over the world, you can get very far through constructive engagement. The world has changed. The time when violence used to be one of the methods of resolving disputes, that time is gone. So let us engage, let us listen. Many of the things that young people are saying are actually right. They are telling those of us who are in office that corruption and stealing public money is a bad thing and it should stop. Isn't it? Any person entrusted with public funds who is siphoning those funds and diverting them to private use, that person is not just an enemy of young people, it is an enemy of Kenya. Because you're stealing the future of the nation. And some of the things that young people are saying, they are right. Our prayer is that modalities of saying these things be streamlined, and we should take action. We should not just listen and just keep quiet about it. And in the next 1-2 years, you're going to see a lot of changes. I don't want to preempt the president, but you're going to hear some pronouncements as we begin a new chapter as a country of being more listening, more accommodative, and forging a national consciousness that will take us to the next level. Even the hard topics that many of us are uncomfortable discussing, you're going to hear very soon. We will start having those conversations on the hard issues of accountability, hard issues on the fight against graft and stealing of public funds, the hard issues about how those in authority treat citizens and how security agencies engage with the people, how do the rights of people, how are they moderated. But in the process, we'll also have a very difficult conversation on how the exercise of rights must not injure the national good and hurt innocent people who have nothing to do with what you are aggrieved about. Long time ago, I used to be a university professor, so that's why I've taken that long, but I've finished. I look forward to engaging young people, not just of this university, or our higher education institutions, but also our young people whom they know necessarily in our institutions, but they are out there and they are looking for the government to listen to them. They are looking for the government to adjust the things that they think we are not doing right. I am going to be part of the solution, just like it was said earlier that we need to be part of the solution, all of us, and stop the blame game. Don't allow young people, the youth of Kenya, don't allow people who have had their time, people who had had opportunity, they had a career, they did all they wanted to do, and in their dying years, they want to incite you to destroy the country and leave you with a broken country. People who have had their time to waste your time, because you need your time so that you can also get the... Thank you very much. So nawashukuru sana, nawatakia kila la heri. Mimi naomba tubalizie hapo. Kuna vile PS alisema, and this PS is 21 years old. Only PS is 21 years old. So, and he sits at very high decision-making levels. He has access to the head of state. So if it is getting the agenda of young people channeled into government, the PS for Youth Affairs is there, 29 years old. I don't think the president would have done anything better. So Vijana power. Vijana power. So I want to suggest that we formally have the national anthem, and then after that, the person who was supposed to come and close can come here and close with us. And once again, the leaders who have not spoken, I apologize. We just had to do it this way, but you will always be allowed to have your meetings. I just thought I should share a little bit, and then we finish and leave it up there. Asanteni sana. God bless you.
Your Excellency, sir, courtesy of the office, I will request that the Sports Cabinet Secretary as well as the PS for Youth Affairs makes their way to the podium. Your Excellency, this is a set of 10 goals as well as a VC. Your Excellency, this is a set of 10 balls and 10 jerseys that have been dedicated to the Students' Union of Pwani University. And Your Excellency, you are going to give them to this youth as an appreciation and as a present to the Pwani University. Makofi jameni, wanapata jazi, wanapata mipira, wanafunzi hawa wa chuo kikuu cha Pwani University. A round of applause once again. Makofi kwao, makofi kwao. Asanteni sana, asanteni sana. Shukran sana Mheshimiwa Naibu wa Rais kwa kukumbuka vijana wa chuo hiki kikuu cha Pwani University. Your Excellency, asanti, tunashukuru sana. Asanteni sana. Your Excellency, at this juncture, wale wote ambao tuko nao, we'll just have a quick photo op. Your Excellency and the leaders, let's just have a quick photo op and give His Excellency the Deputy President a chance to take a quick photo shoot with of authentic vibes. Top Prime Media, the app of authentic vibes. Top Prime Media, the app of authentic vibes. Fans, welcome Top Prime Media Morning Breakfast Show. Nami John Madam. Hapa ndipo tunakutana naongea mambo ya siasa. Hapa ndipo tunakutana naongea mambo ya biashara. We also speak about lifestyle. Welcome to Morning Breakfast Show. Nami John Madam. On Monday we have a Blues Monday. Hapa we speak about men. Tunawapongeza sana na tunawaambia congratulations men. Kama vile Harambee Stars imeshinda, tunawaambia congratulations. Na tunawaambia jikaze. Tuesday we also meet on the Morning Breakfast Show. Siku ya kuongea mambo ya afya. Hongera wanawake ambao wanajituma. Hongera. Prime Media. 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 App of authentic vibes. Hello fans, welcome top Prime Media Morning Breakfast Show. Nami John Madam. Hapo ndipo tunakutana naongea mambo ya siasa. Hapo ndipo tunakutana naongea mambo ya biashara. We also speak about lifestyle. Welcome to Morning Breakfast Show. Nami John Madam. On Monday we have a Blues Monday. Where we speak about men. Tunawapongeza sana na tunawaambia congratulations men. Kama vile Harambee Stars imeshinda, tunawaambia congratulations. Na tunawaambia jikaze. Tuesday we also meet on the Morning Breakfast Show, siku ya kuongea mambo ya afya, about health, because unajua kwamba hatuwezi kaa maisha bila kukuwa na afya njema. So on Tuesday we meet pale Morning Breakfast Show again, then we speak about health. On Wednesday hapo ndipo nao wanawake hawajatumiwa, we congratulate them, tunawaambia hongera wanawake ambao wanajituma, wanawake ambao wanajituma kwa kazi, wanapambania maisha yao, wanapambania familia zao. On Thursday is a throwback Thursday of course, and hapo ndipo tunajikumbusha memories za kitambo, tunacheka pamoja, tunafurahi pamoja, kisha tunajibuzana pamoja pale. On Friday it is an interactive Friday, hapo ambao tunaongea mambo na lifestyle, tunaongea mambo ya biashara, tuna interact, mimi na wewe tuna interact. Karibu tena Top Prime Media our fans. It is from Monday to Friday 8:30 a.m. to 10 a.m.
Top Prime Media, the app of authentic vibes. Prime Media, the app of authentic vibes.
Hello everyone, welcome to this show. My name is John.
Prime Media, the app of authentic vibes.
Hello everyone, welcome to this show. My name is John Madam, and today we are going to speak about a very crucial challenge that many face and many Kenyans might be facing, and it is a common challenge maybe to everyone in the world, and it's about mental health. And I want to my guest to introduce himself, and we shall proceed from there. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Introduce yourself to the audience.
Okay, so my name is Ebenezer Mukamba. I am a registered nurse, and I'm also a mental health advocate and enthusiast. What that basically means is that I do a lot of things in the mental wellness space. We teach people in terms of how to live what we call holistic wellness. Holistic wellness encompasses physical well-being, mental well-being, and even emotional well-being. I am excited about this conversation here today because in the recent past there's been a lot of rallying call behind people, corporate organizations, companies, schools, hospitals, students, just to be able to take proactive action towards mental wellness. And sometimes when we talk about mental illness, people think it's about the mad people in Mathare. No, it's not about the mad people who are admitted in Mathare Mental Hospital. In the course of daily life, we encounter things we call stressors. A stressor is anything, and a stressor can be good and bad at the same time. A stressor, for example, I can tell you, having money or not having money is a stressor. Sometimes when you have too much money, it can be a stressor to you. You even don't know how to spend it, or you overspend it. Or sometimes when you have too little money, it's also a stressor because you have a lot of bills to pay, and you're not able to probably pay those bills because you don't have enough money. So those are stressors. Even simple things like traffic jam. You are on your way to somewhere and you encounter traffic and you can't arrive by the time that you are expected to arrive. So we say that is a stressor. But let me bring it home. Right now we have a lot of football going on. Supporting Man U or Arsenal is a source of stress. Or even right now, Kenya is hosting the African Championships. It's good that we won yesterday. But now, what happens when you don't win? It becomes a stressor to the nation. So these things we call stressors, how we respond to them, because we say mental wellness is how you think, how you react towards something. Because some people will think and react differently, even to the same stressor. There is someone when they have money, or when they don't have money, for example, the way they act and the way they react toward that situation is fine. But there are people who, when they do not have money, they start thinking of, committing suicide. just because I don't have the money that I need to have, then I feel like I am worthless. I feel like I need to get out of this world. Then we say that is not appropriate response to that stress that you're experiencing. But let me also mention this. Stress, life is like a bucket of water. I know you know a bucket of water.
Sure.
And and a tap. And we use this a lot in our homes. So the tap and the water that is coming into the bucket represents you, and the water that is coming from the tap represents the life stresses. There is no way you can delete stressors from life. You have to manage them. You just need to manage them. And when we were created by God, He gave us hormones in the body. We respond differently to different hormones in the body. There is things we call serotonin, for example. It's a chemical component in the body that makes people happy. And you'll find even for people who are addicted to drugs, and drug abuse is one of the common mental health challenges that you experience. Why these people get addicted is because they look for that feel-good feeling. They want to release these good hormones that make them feel happy, but unfortunately it's a very short-lived session. For example, if you smoke, let's say, a cigarette, or you smoke bang, weed as they call it in the streets, you will feel good for a moment, and then that feeling good moment will disappear. So what happens is, because you start craving for that feel good moment, and in that craving of that feel good moment, then you end up now looking for more and more so that you can sustain that situation for yourself. So I must say that it is not a sustainable way, for example, to indulge yourself in drugs. Even if it is a way to balance your mental health, it is not a very sustainable way.
That's amazing. And as you have had, mental health illness common. They are common because you cannot remove stress and you cannot remove life challenges away from the life. So now, what are some of the challenges that where a person who is in mental illness may face?
Yes. Now, remember we started by saying that we face these stressors all through our life, and as a person now, when we talk about mental illness, it is the inability to manage the life stresses. So you are not able to cope with the things that are coming your way. And we have multiple things. For example, if someone is unable to cope, for example, with work, they'll start withdrawing and staying away from their colleagues. So you find that this is someone who you used to work with and used to laugh with, you were happy with, but suddenly you see this person starts to sit alone at the corner. And I usually encourage people, if you notice that there are challenges, there are differences that are actually coming within someone that you're noticing, reach out to them. People sometimes just need that trigger to start talking. You just need to trigger them. You just need to ask them, I noticed that the last 2 weeks you've not been talking as much as you've been talking. But on the flip side, there are people who, when they're highly stressed, they start talking a lot. So you would notice that this person, they used to be moderate, they used to just say enough things at a time, but suddenly this person, they start talking a lot of words. Some of them do not make sense, some of them make sense, but this is a person that so you can be able to identify. The other thing that is important to note is, how people keep themselves clean. One of the challenges when people are mentally ill, they are not able to maintain what we call being kempt. So their hair is shaggy, their shirt is dirty, their socks is, one socks is blue, the other one is green, and this person may actually not notice it. It is up to you, as the people who are working with them, are walking with them, are meeting out there in the streets, and you're asking them, this shirt doesn't look like the shirt you usually wear. Something is going on. You can come down and you can tell me, talk to me so that I can be able to support you. Yes.
That's amazing. And that is wonderful. And when we might have faced and maybe ignored many people because of some challenges, maybe they are evident, but
yes,
people think it's well.
Yes.
And maybe because there are those who prefer privacy and all that.
Yes.
And we might have in the streets and maybe where our colleagues,
yes,
maybe in church, we might not have had the step to go and talk to that person.
Yes.
Because you have said that people just need a trigger for them to talk.
People need a trigger. People just need a trigger
for them to talk.
Yes.
And maybe why do men find hard to share maybe their issues and what they are experiencing?
We have been cultured like that. How we have been brought up, the societal expectations for a man are that you should be strong. I was telling you before we started, I was asking you, when did you last cry? If we got a lady here and asked them when did they last cry, it was not too long ago. And you don't have to cry for serious things. You can cry even for small things. And you know, some of the things, it's a coping strategy. You know, crying, screaming, these writing things down, these are coping strategies that we say are healthy. You do not have to wait for miracles actually to happen. And you know, as men, we keep on ourselves because we'll be judged. You fear being judged by maybe other men. I usually see on Facebook, they say, you know, we will expel you from men's conference. This year you will not attend if you do these things. By what we are simply saying, you know, these kind of stereotypes that we put together and we say now men should not do this, should not do that, they are the ones that drive men. Actually, if you look at the statistics, the number of suicide cases, for example, it's actually 80 to 90% men who succeed in committing suicide. Ladies attempt. They do get the ideas. They get the ideas. They do attempt. They even try it out, but they do not succeed. Why? Because you know, when the men plan it, they plan it to do it and to succeed at it. And unfortunately, if you go to many inpatient hospitals and even in Equity Afya, Kitengela, and you know, where we work, you would find that, you know, men would be brought in and they've taken poison. And you would wonder, you would ask, you check the history and ask, why did this person take poison, for example? And it will be simple reasons, you know, it was a relationship that went bad, you know, it was an abandonment, maybe it was work-related stress. And this person decided, you know, I don't think that I am any better alive, so let me just take this poison and take it away. So as men, we have been cultured in a way that does not support us. And that's why even standing here, you know, I'm speaking to men. And if you're a man out there, you know, let's give each other a safe space. For example, we run a really fantastic program which is private. You know, men need privacy. For example, if I need to talk about my finances, I need a place where I know I'll talk about my money and they will not judge me. We provide online platforms and online tools which we will be able to share here, where someone can just go online, www.carecall.co.ke, and they'll find a self-screening tool. Just answer some questions and you get a WhatsApp number there where you can be able to speak to someone online without knowing who that person is, without knowing where that person is. And these are professional psychologists. Psychologists who are qualified by the board, and they can be able to support you through this.
That's fantastic, and that's very incredible.
Yes.
Men, you've said that men find it hard, and it is good for men to speak, and it is remove that stereotype whereby the culture is saying that you must be strong, because these things are affecting most of the men, and they find it hard to share their stories. May you can just repeat the website again?
Yes. So if anyone Googles CareCall is care for caring, C-A-R-E, and call, which is CALL.co.ke. It is what we call self-screening, because we discovered when we started preaching the gospel of wellness that people do not want to go to other people first. They want to look at the computer first, or look through their phones first. So that website is a very simple website. Once you land there, it takes you to taking 30 free. No one is being asked to pay any money to complete those assessment questions. So you can choose. For example, there are people who have stress. There are people who have, let's say, alcohol use disorder. There are people who, for example, have what we call post-traumatic stress disorder, where that basically means you underwent a very difficult situation, and sometimes when you walk around, you feel like that situation is coming back to your mind. There are things like anxiety. You know, anxiety is unexplained fear. You can't walk alone on the road, you can't sleep alone in the house, so you have the fear of the unknown. So, you know, their level of anxiety. There is normal anxiety, you know. If you are driving in a vehicle that is driving too fast, you can be anxious about that, which is okay. But now, if you cannot go out, say, for example, alone because you're afraid, then that's abnormal anxiety. So you can be able to take these risk assessment questionnaires, you answer the questions, and the system will give you a score. And after giving you a score, there is a WhatsApp number there. You share that score, and someone will reach out.
Wow. Thank you for coming with a platform like that.
Yes.
And I know when men will, and everyone will visit that website, it will help. Maybe
Absolutely.
What are some of the ways where, how can people heal from mental mental health?
Yes, so these are their coping strategies, and before we talk about the coping strategies, I would like to mention that the World Health Organization, when they define health, it is not what they call absence of infirmity. Infirmity is just sickness. It's not just because you don't have diabetes or malaria or pneumonia you are healthy. No, we call it a holistic well-being. So it is a complete set of being healthy. Mental health, physical health, and all those kind of emotional wealth. They have a balance. That is what now we call as health. Now, when we talk about health, and I had you to talk about food, the foods that we eat. How the kind of foods that we eat, they influence our overall well-being. For example, I usually tell this, if someone is stressed, there are people when they are stressed, they eat a lot. And they don't eat nduma or maize, they eat cakes and sodas, for example. I am so stressed, so I go to KFC and eat fried chicken and chips. And you see, for a month, you decide to indulge yourself in a lot of fried chicken and chips, which is fine. Unfortunately, they have a lot of fat, and they end up affecting how even your heart works. For example, you end up getting high blood pressure. I think you've heard people say, because I have stress, I have gotten high blood pressure. Stress by itself can cause high blood pressure, but the things we do when we are stressed, they also cause high blood pressure. An example is someone will lock themselves in the house, they refuse to come out, they don't walk, they don't do any physical activity, so they end up accumulating weight, they're eating chips, they're not walking, they're not exercising, they add 5 kgs within 1 month. That increases the strain on the heart. So we are talking about holistic well-being. So we have to have a balanced diet. You have to take 8 glasses of water in a day. You have to be physically active. That means that in a day you have to take at least 30 minutes of walking. Go out there, just breathe fresh air and take a walk, and then come back home. When you talk about sleeping, people say that because I'm stressed I cannot sleep, but it's an endless cycle. You are stressed, you cannot sleep, you get more stressed. So it's a cycle that continues and continues. And we say that if as a person you train yourself to actually do 6 to 8 hours on average every night. People stay on TikTok up to 2 a.m. People stay on Instagram scrolling up to 2 a.m. And the blue light from the phone, it's a cycle because you're scrolling, waiting for sleep, and the phone is chasing away the sleep. So there is nothing you're doing there. The following day you go to work, your boss gives you a deadline, you can't do it because you're too sleepy to work. So it becomes a cycle of stress that goes round and round and round. So those are simple things that we can do. But the other things that we can actually do to cope, I had mentioned about this, there are people who write a lot. Journaling, when you have something in your heart and you can't tell it to anyone else, write it down. Just write it, tear that paper, or even burn it, or keep it safely. There is something that writing has to do with you. And sometimes, and finally, I usually tell people, if you come to a place where you are depressed and you feel like this is the end of me, and you're alone in the house, the one thing that actually people have done and it has helped them get help is taking a shower. Because when people are depressed, they don't even take showers. So they stay away from the water. I usually encourage, if anyone out there and if anyone is listening to me today and they go to a place and they feel like, this is my dead end, I just need to do something to get out of this world, take a shower first. After you've taken a shower, take a walk. Get out of the house, get out of the place you're hiding, go take a 30-minute walk. If you do those 2 things, they will open a door for you to actually speak to someone. And speaking to someone will be the beginning of healing.
Those are just simple steps. 30 minutes and you are well. And you've just mentioned, and I had just to put a smile because 8 glasses a day, and so we are just from a month of coldness. And anyway, those are just simple steps, and they will help you to have this holistic living and to have this healthy living as defined by the World Health Organization.
Yeah.
And there are people, there's some simple ways. I have heard people say that there are people who can do arts to just relieve the stress.
Yes.
Someone draw something.
Yes.
And is it this the reason why maybe you hear about the bongo musicians and they have art but they can sing and that's all?
Yes. Actually, we have a program called Art Therapy. We take groups of people to Karura Forest. In the forest, it's very free oxygen, nice grass there. and we bring paintings, and we just paint something. It could be something that, for example, we can tell you, paint something that is disturbing you in the past, and you just take your time to draw it. And those 2 hours after you finish, you look at that image, you offload whatever it is that is in your head or in your heart into that canvas. But other than art therapy, we also have something called florotherapy. Florotherapy is for flowers. I don't know, if someone is given flowers, they feel nice, especially the ladies, they feel very good about it. And what we do in florotherapy is we bring multiple colored flowers together, and we bring groups of people together. And we tell you, for example, think about a stressor in your life, and take a bouquet of flowers and arrange them in a way that you like to arrange them. So people take their time, you arrange the flowers, you put your colors, you put your shapes, and then finally you tell us about your whatever it is that you've arranged. So that bouquet of flowers that you've arranged, it communicates something. By the end of the day, the goal is for you to be able to transfer whatever it is in your heart that is weighing you down onto something else. And I didn't finish telling you the story of the bucket. If you put a 20-liter bucket of water and you open the tap, at some point it will get full. What happens? What will you do? Because that water stresses. So that means there are many stresses that are coming into you, that are overflowing in your life. So the only way you can actually manage is you put holes on that bucket. Because you don't want the bucket to be full. The bucket represents you, and the water is the stressors of life. So you want to manage the stressors. They come, but they have an exit. They come, but they exit. So they don't come and just sit inside you. If they sit inside you, that is your problem. So we make sure that florotherapy, art therapy, drawing, even singing, like you say, there are people who sing in the shower. They cannot sing outside here, but when in shower, they're the best singers in the world. Do it. If it actually helps you, do it. Because you just need an outlet. Like that bucket of water, if you put an outlet on it, it will never get full. Yes.
Wow. Those just some steps and more explanation of how you can heal for mental and wellness. And yes, just said that the big problem is that when you just allow the stress and the challenges and what affects you emotionally, physically, to just stay in you. If you just let it go, then they all have an outlet on how to these things to escape, then you will be very well. Maybe what are your final words as we conclude this?
First of all, I'd like to say that health is holistic. Anytime, we have normalized going to the hospital to see the doctor. Niko na homa, naenda naona daktari. It is normal. But sometimes we hear someone saying, I'm going to see a psychologist, and we start labeling them. Huyu hata alienda kuona psychologist. Kichwa yake sasa. That is not correct. We have to normalize mental health activities. They are just the same as you just going to see a doctor for malaria or for pneumonia or for anything that is going on within yourself. So number one, let us normalize. But number two, we have to do things from the physical aspect. And that's why I was talking about the water that you are saying it's a cold month. It's a cold month, but you don't drink water because you are thirsty. You drink water because your body requires the water. Remember, for example, your brain requires at least 5 liters to go through it per minute, and you don't have 5 liters in your body. So it means that you have to drink enough water so that your heart can pump this blood all the way to your brain, so that you can stay physically healthy. And we usually say that as an adult, you just need to put a schedule for yourself, even a reminder if you need to put a reminder for yourself, just to make sure that you're properly hydrated. And finally, there's something we call annual wellness checkup. So that means that for no reason, every adult, once a year, for no reason, you should go to a hospital and tell that hospital, I have come to do my annual wellness checkup. Check my mind, check my stomach, check my heart, check my liver, just check me and tell me how I'm doing. You remember in school, we used to be given report cards. But when you finish school and you get out of here, you don't have a report card of your health. How is it that you don't have a report card of your health? Yet it is the reason why you can do your work is because you're healthy. The moment you stop being healthy, you are not able to do your work. And I usually ask people, how comes you know your M-Pesa balance? Do you know your M-Pesa balance? Yes. But do you know your blood sugar levels? I don't know. Do you know your weight? I don't know. Do you know what you will be in 2 years' time? You don't know. No, we should not be at that point where we don't have information about our bodies. Even mental health has a score. For example, there are certain tests, that screening tools that we do, and you get a score. And every year you can do that test, and you can be able to tell, am I at A, am I at B, or am I scoring an E in terms of my health? Whatever score you get, it has specific things that you need to do about it. So the goal is the community, and we love our community very much. We want everybody in the community to be in a state of complete health and not just struggling with one thing or the other. And finally, let me just say one thing that is also dear to me, because we usually say that lifespan has increased. People live longer nowadays as compared to 100 years ago, but they live sicker. So the total lifespan has increased. People will live up to 80 years old. But by 30 years old, someone is struggling with one thing or the other thing. So we say that the healthy lifespan reduced. And mental health and mental illness is one of those things that contribute to healthy lifespan. Healthy lifespan means that you're living your life free of any sickness, free of anything that you're struggling with. But nowadays, you find young people in their 25, 30 years old, they're already taking medicine that they're taking every day. They're already struggling with one thing or the other, because, we put ourselves in a state where we are not taking care of ourselves. Next time when we meet, I think we will have to discuss comprehensively on the issue of what we call the wellness checkups, because people need to understand what is it that you need to check in for yourself. What is it that you need to track in for yourself from 5 years ago to 5 years to come? There are very specific things that you need to track in yourself to make sure that you're healthy. Yes.
I'm so suspicious because I'm also challenged on matters of mental health and health in general, and we'll find the equity of your officials or
yes.
equity of
Yes. So there are two ways to do this. Now, number one, we are based in Kitengela, we are in South B and in Nairobi West as Equity Afya. And anyone who lives anywhere in this country, they can find an Equity Afya facility. There are about 140 in the country. But we also went a step further. For us, we said that, wellness has to be holistic. So we have Care Call. Care Call is a wellness arm. So we are purely doing wellness activities. We don't see people who are sick. We see people who are healthy, and we serve people who are healthy. So Care Call is care for caring, and call for phone call. It's one name. If they check out on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter, and on TikTok, you can be able to ask. It's a very digital platform. You can even do an online consultation. You can speak to a doctor on the phone. You can speak to a doctor on WhatsApp. You can chat with someone whom you know. And again, on that website, there is a phone number 0765 050313. That's a number that, if you send a WhatsApp message there, someone will quickly be able to sort you out.
That's amazing. My name has been John Madam. Thank you for tuning in to this interview, and we will be bringing more about mental health, because you understand that we cannot live. The body is where everything takes place. So you cannot go to church when you don't have your body is feeling unwell. You cannot do anything when your body is weak. So the body is everything, and we are going to bring more about health and more about mental health and how you can stay fit and you expand your life, healthy life in this living. So thank you so much for tuning in. Till next time. Bye bye.
Top Prime Media, the app of authentic vibes.